As the world mourns Pope Francis, history's most secretive transfer of power begins. White smoke, the path to a new pope, guides you through this momentous transition. We explain exactly what happens next, leading to the dramatic conclave vote. Learn how each ritual unfolds, what each tradition means, and why these ancient ceremonies still matter today. Follow along as the throne of St. Peter stands empty and a new chapter in church history begins. White Smoke, available wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you know what a group of flamingos is called? That's just one of thousands of facts you'll discover on 5 daily trivia questions. Hi, I'm Mark Ellison. Join me every weekday for 5 mind-expanding questions about everything from ancient history to modern technology. Perfect for impressing friends or dominating your next pub quiz. 5 daily trivia questions. And the answer, a group of flamingos, is called a flamboyance. 5 daily trivia questions.
Caloroga Shark Media.
Hi there, I'm Johnny Mac with 5 good news stories. This first headline confused me. It is New York City neighborhood is the first with turkey crossing signs. Now, I grew up in New York City, and I was like, what? Turkeys? New York City? Huh? But it turns out it's on Roosevelt Island. If you're not familiar with the terrain, Manhattan is what most people think of as New York City. Just to the east of Manhattan is the East River, which isn't even a river. That's a story for another day, which separates Manhattan and Queens. In between those is a tiny place called Roosevelt Island where you can live. But Roosevelt Island is like not New York City at all in vibe. Anyway, Roosevelt Island will become the first neighborhood in New York City to put up turkey crossing signs in a bid to protect a turkey that has recently made the area her home. The bright yellow signs will warn drivers, and again, on Roosevelt Island, you don't drive. You kind of go across this bridge and put your car in a parking lot, and you can walk the whole thing. But anyway, the yellow signs will warn drivers to keep their eyes peeled for Rosie the turkey. Rosie the turkey first showed up in May. One of the locals, Judy, said, I worry because Miss Turkey Rosie, she doesn't have a good sense of direction. She just walks in the middle of the street. She doesn't know any better. I think people realize she's a wild animal and should be respected. She should safely cross the streets of New York. Bryant is a spokesperson for Roosevelt Island. He said, it only took one visit for our feathered friend to realize Roosevelt Island is the place to be. Beautiful green spaces, quiet streets, a friendly and welcoming community. It's no wonder why she decided to set up shop here and become a local celebrity. A student has built the world's smallest vacuum cleaner. It measures just 1/4 inch at its shortest axis. Tapala spent about $238 transforming his pen into a vacuum. He says the tiny vacuum creates suction via a tiny rotating fan powered by a 4-volt vibration motor, and it picks up particles of dust that can then be emptied. Here's another one of those pets turning up after many miles and many years. Lost cat turns up 2,000 miles from home after nearly 3 years. The Dakin Humane Society said a skinny stray cat was brought in by a member of the public. Staff members were left in disbelief when his microchip identified him as Shoto. Shoto was reported missing in Texas in January of 2022, somehow made it to Massachusetts. Shoto's owner, Carla, said she was suspicious when a Massachusetts area came up on her phone. She answered it and found out they found Shoto. She says no one except for Shoto will ever know how he got to Massachusetts, what he experienced, or who he met along the way. That adventure will forever remain his secret. Carla drove 26 hours to go pick up Shoto. The shelter said, we're honored to have reunited this family after such a long time apart, thanks to the amazing power of a microchip. Good news if you're a gray wolf, you guys are coming back, baby. The last gray wolf in California was killed in 1924. California went nearly a century without a gray wolf, but in 2011, a gray wolf crossed the border from Oregon into California. Since then, their numbers are rising. Now there are over 40 gray wolves in the state. Officials have reported a new pack of gray wolves. Wolves are a good thing. When 41 wolves were reintroduced to Yellowstone, it was a benefit for plants and animals alike. Some ranchers are a little stressed, but California has a program to reimburse and help farmers if, stuff happens. White smoke. The path to a new pope explores humanity's most elaborate and secretive transfer of power, a process now unfolding following the death of Pope Francis. This series reveals the hidden rituals, ancient traditions, and behind-the-scenes drama of papal transition. As the Catholic world enters this solemn period of mourning and anticipation, join us in witnessing how the Church has perfected this sacred process over 2,000 years and what happens in these crucial days when the throne of St. Peter stands empty. White Smoke brings listeners inside the conclave that will determine who will succeed Pope Francis and lead the Church into its next chapter. White Smoke, wherever you get your podcasts.
You can get this podcast completely ad-free right now. If you're on Apple, just click the banner that says Uninterrupted Listening, and you'll get your first month free. If you use Spotify or other podcast players, go to caloroga.com/plus. It's just $5 a month, and you'll get access to over 20 premium shows with no interruptions. Binge listen to new series like the political thriller Acting President, Signal Lost, where military secrets land on the wrong phone, and Pager Protocol, the thriller about exploding pagers in the wrong hands. Plus, enjoy daily shows like Palace Intrigue about the royal family, daily comedy news, and 5 daily trivia questions to test your knowledge, and White Smoke, taking you behind the scenes at what's happening right now at the Vatican. You also get all our hot shows like 5 good news stories. Enjoy your favorite content without any ad breaks. Remember, Apple users click the uninterrupted listening banner for your free first month, and everyone else head to caloroga.com/plus. Get ad-free listening today.
This is fun. This comes up every year. Hotels.com revealed some of the most unusual items left behind at its hotels, including a pet lizard. The most common items left behind, phone chargers and toiletries. That makes sense. Some unusual items left behind, a Rolex, a different watch worth $6 million. Oops. A car tire, an engagement ring, a tooth, 2 full-leg casts, a pet lizard, and a chick. Hotels.com said the lizard and the chick were reunited with their owners. What about the car tire? Nobody cares about the car tire? Unusual service room requests include caviar hot dog, fresh goat milk, and these are separate requests. This is not one big crazy request. And 4 pounds of bananas and a high five from a team member to ensure their room service request was read. Dude, you are high maintenance. And those are your 5 good news stories for today. Hey, I also host a podcast called Daily Comedy News 7 days a week if you want to check that out. Also, check out our sister show, 5 Minutes of Gratitude. Start your mornings with some mindfulness. If you would like the show without ads, there's a link in the show notes to tell you how that works, and you have an awesome day.